Jake was finishing his morning chores on the ranch, the sun rising slowly over the fields, casting a warm orange glow across the land. His horses were already fed, and the quiet of the countryside felt like a natural rhythm that he had grown to love. But today, things were about to change. As he walked toward the barn, he noticed someone standing near the fence, a figure that didn't belong. It wasn't one of his usual visitors, and something about her seemed different. He paused for a moment, unsure what to make of it. The figure was tall, almost too tall, with smooth, glowing skin. Her eyes were large, and her hair shimmered, almost like it was made of starlight. She wore strange clothing, something that didn't look quite right for Earth, and her calm, confident demeanor seemed out of place on a ranch. Jake squinted and took a step forward. The figure turned toward him, and that's when he saw it. She wasn't human. The alien smiled at him, and though her face was foreign, there was something warm and genuine about her expression. "Can I help you?" Jake called out, trying to mask the surprise in his voice. The alien girl approached slowly, her movements graceful and measured. "Hello, human," she said, her voice melodic and smooth. "I am Mira. I come from a distant planet, and I've been studying your world. I have a request." Jake was still in shock, but nodded politely, not quite sure what to expect next. "All right, what can I do for you?" Mira's eyes sparkled with curiosity. "I've read much about Earth's culture, particularly about your horses. I am fascinated by them. I would like to learn how to ride one." Jake blinked. A smile tugged at the corner of his mouth as he realized she was serious. A human cowboy teaching an alien to ride. He had never imagined such a thing, but there was something in her eyes that told him she was genuine. "You want to learn how to ride?" Jake asked, his voice low with surprise. "You're in the right place. I've been riding since I could walk. But you're an alien. You sure you can do this?" Mira nodded, her expression determined. "I am curious. I believe riding a horse will teach me much about your connection to nature. I want to experience it for myself." Jake scratched his chin, trying to think through the situation. He had never taught someone from another planet before, let alone an alien who probably didn't know the first thing about Earth's animals. Still, there was something about her curiosity that made him want to help. "Well, all right," Jake finally said with a grin. "It's not something that's easy to explain, but I can teach you. Let's start with the basics. We'll take it slow." Mira's eyes lit up, and she nodded eagerly. "Thank you, Jake. I appreciate this opportunity." Jake led her toward the barn, where the horses were waiting. He was unsure how she'd adapt to horseback riding, but something told him this would be a memorable experience. As they approached the barn, Mira gazed at the horses in awe. "They are magnificent creatures," she said softly, reaching out to touch one of the horses. "I've never seen anything like them." Jake smiled. "Yeah, there's something special. Let's start with Bella. She's gentle. I think she'll be a good fit for you." With that, Jake and Mira began their lesson, the ranch suddenly feeling much larger with a new student and a new world of possibilities. Mira stood beside the barn, staring at the horse Jake had introduced her to. Bella, the chestnut mare, was calm and gentle, grazing peacefully in the field. Mira was fascinated by the creature's sleek coat and large, kind eyes. She had read much about horses, but seeing one up close was a completely different experience. Jake stood beside her, watching her with a patient smile. "All right, Mira," he said. "The first thing you need to know is that horses can sense how you feel. They can tell if you're nervous or relaxed, so it's important to stay calm and confident. They trust us if we show them trust." Mira nodded, listening intently. Her large eyes focused on Bella, taking in every detail of the horse's behavior. "I understand," she replied. "I've learned that trust is important on my planet too. It is the key to any relationship." Jake chuckled. "You've got the right idea." He gestured toward the horse. "Now, when you're ready, you'll approach her slowly. Don't rush, just let her know you're there. Mira hesitated for a moment, taking a deep breath. She stepped forward cautiously, her movements fluid and deliberate. As she reached Bella, the horse raised her head and sniffed the air, clearly curious. Mira extended her hand slowly, her fingers outstretched. Bella nuzzled her gently, sniffing her hand before allowing Mira to pet her. The moment felt like a quiet exchange of understanding, and Mira smiled. "You're doing great," Jake said from behind her, his voice full of encouragement. "Now, the next step is getting on the horse. I'll guide you through it." Mira turned to look at him, her expression a mix of curiosity and nervousness. She had never ridden a horse before, and the idea of mounting such a large animal made her stomach flutter. But she trusted Jake, and she was determined to try. Jake demonstrated first, smoothly climbing into the saddle and adjusting himself comfortably. He looked at Mira and nodded. "It's easier than it looks. Just swing your leg over the saddle and sit down gently." Mira watched carefully, mimicking his movements. She stepped forward, reaching for the saddle. Her first attempt was awkward, and she almost lost her balance. But Jake was right there to steady her. "Take your time," he said softly. "It's not about being perfect. It's about learning, and you're doing just fine." With his help, Mira finally managed to swing her leg over and sit down in the saddle. She felt a mix of excitement and nervousness as she found her balance, holding onto the reins. Bella shifted slightly under her, but Mira remained calm, remembering Jake's words about trust. "How do I make her move?" Mira asked, her voice full of wonder. Jake smiled. "Just give her a little nudge with your heels, like this." He demonstrated by gently tapping his heels against the horse's side. "And use the reins to steer her. Light pressure, just enough to guide her." Mira followed his instructions, and to her surprise, Bella began to walk forward slowly, her steps steady and smooth. Mira felt the rhythm of the horse's movements, the gentle rocking of the saddle beneath her. It was a feeling she had never experienced before, and it made her heart race with excitement. "You're doing it," Jake exclaimed, a proud smile on his face. Mira grinned, feeling a sense of accomplishment. "This is incredible," she said, her voice filled with awe. "It's like I'm one with her. We're moving together." Jake nodded. "That's the magic of riding. It's a partnership. You guide her, and she guides you." As Mira rode around the small field, she felt a sense of freedom she hadn't known before. The wind in her hair, the open space around her, and the connection with the horse all felt like pieces of a new world unfolding before her. Jake watched her ride, his heart swelling with pride. He had taught many people how to ride over the years, but there was something special about teaching an alien girl from another planet. She was learning quickly, and he could see her starting to bond with the horse. It was the beginning of something truly remarkable. Mira's heart raced as she gently nudged Bella forward, her hands steady on the reins. The horse moved smoothly across the open field, and Mira felt a sense of freedom she had never experienced before. For the first time in her life, she was riding a horse, something she had read about but never imagined would become a reality. The wind brushed against her skin, the sun warmed her face, and the rhythm of Bella's steps calmed her nerves. Jake, walking beside them, watched her closely. He could see the small, tentative movements in Mira's posture, the way her back remained stiff, her fingers gripping the reins a little too tightly. But her progress was undeniable. She was learning quickly, her natural curiosity and determination making her a fast learner. "Remember, Mira," Jake called out, "don't grip the reins too hard. Relax your hands. The horse can feel your tension, and we don't want to make her nervous." Mira took a deep breath, trying to follow Jake's advice. She loosened her grip, allowing the reins to move more freely in her hands. Immediately, she noticed the difference. Bella seemed more at ease, walking in a smoother rhythm. It was as if the horse could sense that Mira was starting to feel more comfortable. Jake smiled, seeing the change. "That's it," he said. "Horses are just like people. They respond to how you feel. The more relaxed you are, the more relaxed they'll be. Mira nodded, still focused on the task at hand. She glanced around, taking in the vast open space of the ranch. The beauty of Earth was overwhelming to her, and riding a horse felt like the perfect way to truly experience it. The land stretched out before her, the trees rustling in the distance, and the smell of fresh earth filled the air. She felt connected to this new world, a world that seemed so different from her own. As she guided Bella into a slow trot, her confidence grew. The horse's movements were quicker now, and Mira had to adjust her posture to keep her balance. It wasn't easy, but the challenge made her feel alive, excited to learn more. She could hear Jake's encouraging words in the background, but she was becoming more and more focused on the rhythm between her and the horse. "You're doing great," Jake said, his voice full of praise. "Just keep your posture straight. Don't lean too much to one side. You want to stay centered with the horse." Mira made adjustments, straightening her back and finding a more comfortable position. She realized that the key was balance, both with the horse and within herself. It wasn't just about moving forward, it was about moving together. She smiled, feeling the connection deepen with Bella and with Earth itself. As they circled the field a few more times, Mira grew more confident. She was starting to understand how to steer Bella, guiding her with gentle tugs on the reins, urging her forward with light nudges of her heels. The horse responded well, and for the first time, Mira truly felt like a rider. Jake kept pace beside them, watching her closely. He was impressed, not just by how quickly she had learned, but by the way she had bonded with the horse. There was something special about it, an alien learning how to ride, connecting with a creature from a completely different world. It was a reminder that learning and growth didn't depend on where you were from. It was about the willingness to try and adapt. When Mira finally slowed Bella to a stop, she was grinning. "I did it," she said, her voice full of excitement. "I actually did it." Jake laughed softly, pride shining in his eyes. "You sure did. You're a natural." Mira's smile widened as she dismounted, her legs a little wobbly but her heart full. "Thank you, Jake. This has been one of the most incredible experiences of my life." Jake nodded, giving her a reassuring smile. "It's just the beginning, Mira. You've got the hang of it, but there's still a lot to learn. We'll get you riding like a pro in no time." Mira looked out across the field, her mind buzzing with the possibilities. She had not only learned how to ride a horse, but she had also taken her first step into understanding Earth's connection to nature. It was more than just a skill, it was a feeling. And in that moment, Mira knew that this was just the start of her adventure. Mira's confidence grew with every passing moment on horseback. What had started as a tentative, uncertain effort was now becoming something she looked forward to. Each day, she spent more time with Bella, the chestnut mare, learning the subtleties of horseback riding, and with each lesson, her connection with the horse deepened. It was early in the morning when Jake called to her from the barn, where he was preparing a fresh saddle for Bella. The sun was just beginning to rise, casting a soft orange glow over the fields. "Mira, ready for another ride?" Jake called out, wiping his hands on his worn jeans. Mira stepped out from the house, feeling the cool morning breeze against her face. She had become eager to ride, to explore the ranch and its wide open spaces. The land, so different from her own, fascinated her. It was vast and wild, with the horses moving freely in the pastures and the occasional sound of cattle in the distance. "Definitely," Mira said, her voice full of excitement. She had come a long way from the first time she had nervously stepped into the saddle. Now she felt the thrill of the ride, of learning something so new and so challenging. Jake smiled as he handed her the reins. "All right, today we're going to try a bit more. I want you to learn how to ride at a faster pace. We'll take it slow, but I think you're ready." Mira looked at the horse, her eyes shining with enthusiasm. She knew she had to trust Jake's judgment. "I'm ready," she said confidently, as she mounted Bella once again, her movements fluid. They started slowly, just as they always did, walking along the fence line. Mira focused on staying centered, remembering the basics Jake had taught her. Hold the reins lightly, sit straight, and let the horse move with you. But today, Jake had a different challenge in mind. All right, let's try a trot, Jake said after a few moments. Not too fast, just a steady pace. Mira nodded. I can do that, she said. She nudged Bella gently with her heels, and the horse responded, breaking into a smooth trot. Mira felt the rhythm of the ride, faster than walking, but not too fast. It was like she and Bella were one, moving in sync. After a few more rounds, Jake called for a stop. He looked over at Mira, who was breathing a little faster but smiling. How are you feeling? He asked. Mira was breathing a little hard, but thrilled by the experience. I feel great. I can't believe how much I've learned already. Jake nodded, pleased with her progress. Good. Now we're going to try something faster. Don't worry, we're not going straight into a full gallop, but I want you to feel the difference when you move up. Mira's stomach fluttered with excitement and nerves. A gallop. She had watched Jake race across the fields on his horses and admired the speed and grace of it. But the idea of riding at that pace made her feel uncertain. Just take it slow, Jake reassured her. Bella will help you. She's a gentle one, and I'll be right beside you. With a deep breath, Mira nodded. She was ready to trust both Bella and Jake. She gently urged Bella forward, and the horse responded, breaking into a smooth, fast-paced trot. Then Jake signaled. Now, give her more pressure with your heels, just like I showed you. She'll take off, but you have to stay balanced. Go with her. Mira felt Bella's muscles shift beneath her as the horse picked up speed. The wind rushed in her face, and her heart pounded with excitement. They were galloping now, racing across the field with the open sky above them. Mira's body moved with Bella's rhythm, and for the first time, she truly felt the power and freedom of the ride. They went for a few minutes, the world a blur of wind, grass, and open space. When Jake finally called for a stop, Mira felt a rush of exhilaration and pride. She had done it. She had galloped. Well done, Jake said, his voice full of praise. You're a natural, Mira. Mira grinned, her face flushed with excitement. That was amazing, she exclaimed. I've never felt anything like that before. Jake chuckled. It's a great feeling, isn't it? That's what horseback riding's all about. The connection, the freedom, and the trust between you and the horse. Mira looked out across the wide open land, feeling a sense of belonging she hadn't expected. She had come to Earth to learn about its culture, but horseback riding was teaching her something even more important, that there was beauty and connection in every moment, no matter where you were from. Mira was becoming more confident with each ride, but today was going to be different. Jake had suggested a new challenge, one that would push her limits and deepen her connection with Bella. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, Jake led Mira out to the open fields beyond the barn, where the ground was soft and the landscape stretched out for miles. It was the perfect place to test her skills. Mira, today we're going to try something a little more challenging, Jake said, glancing over at her as he adjusted his own saddle. I want you to try riding Bella without me guiding you. I'll be nearby, but I want you to trust yourself and trust her. Mira hesitated for a moment, her nerves creeping in. She had grown used to Jake being right there, giving her instructions, but now it was time to take the next step on her own. She could feel the pressure of it, but something in her stirred. This was her chance to show just how far she had come. All right, Mira replied, her voice steady, though her heart was beating faster. She knew this was an important moment in her journey. I'm ready. Jake smiled at her encouragingly. Good. Just remember, horses are sensitive to your feelings. If you stay calm, she will stay calm. Mira nodded, her fingers tightening on the reins. She took a deep breath as she guided Bella forward, her movements slow and deliberate. The horse stepped forward, and for a moment, Mira felt a twinge of doubt. Would she be able to do this? But as Bella trotted gently across the field, Mira found her rhythm. Her earlier hesitation began to melt away. With each step, she felt more and more in tune with the horse, just as Jake had taught her. The connection between them was growing stronger, and Mira began to realize just how much she had learned in such a short time. She glanced over at Jake, who was riding a few paces behind her. He had a proud look on his face, but he said nothing. He was giving her the space she needed to prove to herself that she could handle the ride alone. Mira urged Bella into a canter, and the horse responded immediately, picking up speed in smooth, rhythmic strides. The wind rushed past them, and Mira's heart soared as the land opened up before them. She felt free, untethered by her usual doubts. With Bella beneath her, she wasn't just a visitor on Earth. She was part of something bigger, part of a bond that transcended worlds. Jake stayed at a distance, watching carefully but giving Mira the space she needed. She could feel his presence like a quiet anchor in the background, a reminder that he was there if she needed him. But for now, she was riding with confidence, her trust in Bella and in herself growing stronger. After several minutes, Jake called out to her, "All right, slow her down, Mira. Bring her back to a walk." Mira gently pulled back on the reins, and Bella slowed, the rhythm of her steps gradually shifting from a canter to a calm walk. Mira exhaled deeply, a smile tugging at her lips. She had done it. She had ridden without Jake guiding her, and she had done it successfully. Jake approached, a wide grin on his face. "Well done," he said. "You've come a long way, Mira. You trusted yourself and Bella. That's the most important part of riding." Mira smiled, her face flushed with excitement. "It feels amazing," she said, her voice full of wonder. "I didn't think I could do it, but now I feel like I could ride all day." Jake chuckled. "You've got the heart of a rider. Just keep building on that trust, and you'll be riding like a pro in no time." Mira looked out over the fields, feeling the sense of pride and accomplishment settle in. She had faced her doubts and overcome them, learning not only about riding but also about trusting herself. Earth's horses had given her a new sense of freedom, and the bond she shared with Bella felt stronger than ever. As they headed back toward the barn, the sun sinking lower in the sky, Mira couldn't help but feel that this was just the beginning. There was so much more to learn, so many new experiences to embrace, and with Jake by her side, she knew she would continue to grow, one ride at a time. The sun had begun to dip lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the ranch. The warmth of the day was slowly fading, but the cool evening breeze brought with it a sense of calm. Mira stood near the barn, her hands resting lightly on the saddle of Bella, the horse she had come to trust and love. Today, Jake had promised her something new, a challenge that would test everything she had learned so far. Jake approached from the barn, a confident smile on his face. "Ready for your next lesson, Mira?" he asked, his voice full of encouragement. Mira nodded, her heart racing a little with excitement and nerves. She had come so far since her first hesitant ride, but the thought of a new challenge made her both eager and unsure. "What's the plan today?" she asked, trying to steady her thoughts. Jake glanced out at the open field ahead of them, where the tall grass swayed gently in the wind. "We're going to work on your control today. I want to see if you can guide Bella through a set of obstacles, turns, short bursts of speed, and stopping when needed. It's going to require focus and trust, both with Bella and yourself." Mira's eyes widened slightly. "Obstacles. I thought I was still getting used to the basics." Jake chuckled. "You've been doing great. You've learned a lot faster than I expected. Today's about pushing yourself to the next level. You're ready." Mira took a deep breath, feeling the challenge ahead of her. She had been riding confidently for a while now, but guiding a horse through obstacles would be a different test. Her mind began to race, but she reminded herself to stay calm. She was learning. "All right," Mira said, her voice steady. "I'm ready." Jake led Bella forward, guiding her toward a series of markers set up in the field. They were simple cones, spaced evenly apart, forming a kind of track. It looked easy at first, but Mira knew there would be more to it than just riding in a straight line. Start by walking Bella through the course, Jake instructed. Make gentle turns and keep her pace steady. Remember, it's not about speed, it's about control. Mira mounted Bella, her hands steady on the reins. She had learned that the key to controlling the horse wasn't pulling too hard, but guiding with light pressure. Bella seemed to sense her confidence as they slowly began moving through the course. Mira guided Bella through the first few cones, adjusting her seat and gently tugging the reins to steer the horse. As they came to the first turn, Mira felt a wave of uncertainty. Could she handle it? Would Bella stay with her? But she breathed deeply, remembering Jake's words. Trust. Nice and easy, Jake called out, his voice calm. Keep her balanced. Let her feel your calm. Mira exhaled and gently nudged Bella, guiding her through the turn. The horse responded well, and the two of them smoothly navigated the obstacle. Mira smiled to herself, feeling a sense of pride. It was easier than she thought, but it still required focus. They moved through the rest of the course, and soon enough, Jake called for a stop. That was great, he said, his tone approving. You did well, but we can do better. Now let's try picking up the pace. Mira's heart skipped a beat. Picking up the pace. She wasn't sure she was ready for that. But there was something in Jake's expression. He wasn't rushing her, just encouraging her to challenge herself. Don't worry, Jake said, seeing the hesitation in her eyes. We're going to take it slow, just a little faster than the walk. Let's do a trot and keep guiding Bella through the course. Mira nodded, feeling the weight of the task ahead. She nudged Bella gently with her heels, and the horse picked up speed. Mira's heart raced as they trotted through the course, the wind rushing past her as she focused on maintaining control. She made the first turn easily, then the second, and as they neared the final stretch, Mira felt a surge of confidence. She could do this. She had Bella's trust, and she was learning to trust herself more every day. As they finished the course, Jake called out, "Stop and relax, Mira." That was impressive. Mira pulled back on the reins gently, bringing Bella to a stop. She was breathless, her heart pounding, but she was also smiling. She had done it. You did great, Jake said, walking up beside her. You've come a long way in a short time. I think we're ready to move to the next level. Mira beamed with pride. Thanks, Jake. I never thought I'd get this far. It feels amazing. Jake nodded, his eyes full of approval. It's all about trust. And you've got it, both with Bella and with yourself. Mira looked out over the vast land, the challenges ahead no longer seeming so daunting. She had taken another step forward, and she knew there were many more to come. The sun was beginning to set, casting a golden glow across the open fields of the ranch. The air was cool, and the breeze had settled into a soft whisper. Mira felt a sense of peace wash over her as she sat atop Bella, looking out at the vast landscape. She had come so far since she first stepped onto Earth, unsure of herself and her ability to ride. Now she felt like a true rider, confident and strong, her bond with Bella growing with each passing day. Today was different, though. Jake had told her that they would be doing a final test, one that would show just how far she had come in her journey. They were going to ride across the ranch, pushing their limits and testing everything she had learned. This was the moment when everything would come together. Mira, Jake called out from the other side of the field, his voice carrying through the quiet evening. You ready for the test? Mira turned to face him, her heart racing with excitement and nerves. I'm ready, she replied, her voice steady. She had spent weeks preparing for this moment, and she wasn't about to back down now. Jake nodded and gave her a small smile. Good. We'll be doing a bit more than we've done before. This is about speed, control, and trust. Bella's been with you this whole time, And now it's your turn to show her you can lead her." Mira felt a wave of nervousness rush through her. This wasn't just about navigating obstacles or riding at a steady pace. This was about pushing both herself and Bella to their limits. "Let's do this," Mira said, taking a deep breath and urging Bella forward. They began with a light walk, just as they always had. But Mira knew things would change soon. She could feel the anticipation building in the air. They passed the barn, the open field stretching ahead of them, and Mira could see the path that Jake had mapped out for them. It was a combination of speed and precision, something that would require everything she had learned. "All right, let's pick up the pace," Jake called out, riding alongside her. "I want you to trust Bella. Let her run, but keep control." Mira gently urged Bella forward, and the horse responded with enthusiasm. The trot became a canter, and Mira could feel the speed in her chest as the wind rushed past them. She concentrated, keeping her posture straight and her body relaxed, just as Jake had taught her. Bella moved smoothly beneath her, their bond stronger than ever. The path ahead curved, and Jake called out, "Make the turn smooth, Mira. No hesitation." Mira leaned into the turn, feeling the horse's muscles shift beneath her as Bella followed her lead. They made the turn effortlessly, and Mira couldn't help but smile. She was doing it. She was guiding Bella with confidence, and the horse responded with grace. Jake shouted from behind her, "Now, let's go for a full gallop. Show me what you've got." Mira's heart raced as she urged Bella forward with her heels. The horse shot forward, the speed taking her breath away. The world blurred around her, the ground beneath them becoming a blur of grass and dirt as Bella ran faster, her powerful legs carrying them effortlessly across the field. Mira felt the rush of adrenaline, but she remained focused. She could hear Jake's voice in the distance, his words encouraging her as they raced across the open land. She knew this was the moment, her final test of trust. Bella's powerful strides felt like a dance. Mira relaxed into the rhythm of the ride, her body following the horse's movements as though they were one. There was no hesitation, no doubt. She trusted Bella, and Bella trusted her. As they neared the end of the course, Jake waved for her to slow down. Mira gently pulled back on the reins, bringing Bella to a smooth halt. Her heart was pounding, but the thrill of the ride was unlike anything she had ever experienced. Jake approached her, a proud grin on his face. "You did it, Mira. You passed the test. You and Bella make a great team." Mira looked down at Bella, a wide smile spreading across her face. "I couldn't have done it without her. We're a team." Jake nodded, pleased. "That's the key. Trust. It's not just about the riding. It's about the connection. You've built that with Bella." Mira looked out across the ranch, her heart full. She had started as a stranger in a strange world, unsure of herself. But now she was more than just a visitor. She was part of something, part of Earth's wild beauty. And with Bella by her side, she knew she was ready for whatever came next.